Hello and welcome back to another Bad Movie Reviews review, hosted by your two favourite movie reviewers from Down Under, Ben and Daniel. It has been a couple of weeks since our last review. We have had
been a
nothing. It was my birthday. Saw X was the last film we reviewed. We did watch a film in between there. I can't remember what it was.
Expendables.
But yeah, atrocious.
Don't watch. There's my
It was
review.
a couple of days late, or weeks late, but there hasn't really been anything that came out, and we were due to see this earlier in the week, but we did have a pretty major, vet or dog emergency.
Yeah.
So we delayed it and everything's fine now, but we have seen the film. It is none other than Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, which for anyone who's been a fan of the channel for a while now knew that this was, I think, number 2 on my most anticipated of the year. Just behind Dune 2, which obviously had been delayed now.
Yeah,
and that was actually supposed to come out this week.
Correct. Correct.
So this would inherently mean it would go straight up to number 1 in saying that. But for if you don't know, it is a true story based in the 1920s Oklahoma under Osage Nation land, where there has basically been a, mass plot to murder each Osage member pretty much one by one as the fight for oil keeps going and money and so on. So it's obviously a very bleak and extremely depressing narrative. Usually, if you do watch our reviews as well, Daniel usually covers off what he thinks first, but he's actually asked me to take it from the top on the dome.
Yep. Anytime I think a movie needs like a little bit of extra love or needs to be articulated a little bit better, I always usually throw it over to Ben first, which is rare that it does something needs that extra bit of love, but I'll give it over to him this time.
Look, I'll put it this way. I was floored this whole film. If Daniel likes to make fun of me for how long or how often I go to the toilet during films, this is probably the longest film I can remember seeing in quite some time. It is clocking in at 3 hours and 26 minutes all up. I did not go to the toilet once.
Real proud.
In saying that, I needed to go to the toilet the whole time, but I was actually worried I was going to miss anything. And in saying that, it's a very dialogue, story-driven film. It's not like your Avatar Way of Water, which was 3 hours, obviously. Like, it's a very different film, but it's one that is a very, very serious subject matter, which is incredibly bleak and depressing from the first frame right until the last. And I don't take this lighthearted, like it really actually made me sick, the whole film. To touch on, I guess, the craft of the film, rather than the plot, I'll touch on the plot later, but touching on the craft of the film, for what's in front of the camera, I got to give props to the cast. First of all, Robert De Niro as William Hale was absolutely brilliant. And this is a guy who the Osage people were calling him friend, and he had this mass, it's a true story. It's obviously plot. So I don't want to delve into, spoilers too much, but it's pretty well knowledgeable kind of information, but just the kind of monster and they always say like a snake, like the snake, the kind of the character that's always good to your face but behind your back, like he's just so menacing but like friendly. It kind of puts a friendly face to this antagonist, which is always a very risky thing to do, but Scorsese handles it so impeccably. Leonardo DiCaprio as Ernest Burkhart is probably one of his best performances that I can remember. He is brilliant in this film, and also similar thing, like you just have so much hatred towards these two characters, and it's like to do that in a film where it's not like to do that in a film where obviously you're dealing with true crime scenarios and true situations, to make them hateable people, but also show some compassion in ways at times. Like their performances is just next level, top echelon kind of thing. But Lily Gladstone as Molly Burkhart kind of stole the show for me.
Yep.
I think she is probably a shoo-in for almost an Academy Award at this point that I can think of. I obviously haven't seen all the films of the year, but she is seriously good. But to touch on everything that I guess production design, costume, it is impeccable that we have a film like this coming out with like the budget that it does, and the fact that it looks that good and it's periodically accurate and historically accurate.
Yep.
But I don't think there's a better person to kind of helm this film than Scorsese. I actually don't know how old he is off the top of my head, but 1942. So let's just say he's
old enough.
He's old enough, but in his, above his 70s. But like talking about a man who's given so much to cinema and has directed films like Casino, Goodfellas, obviously most recently The Departed, Wolf of Wall Street, like directed these, that he's in my idea, he's one of the founding fathers of cinema for me. Like I might put Spielberg or like Scorsese there. He's made some of my favorite films of all time. I genuinely think this is him at the top of his craft, and it's scary because he's made all these masterpieces, in my opinion, and this is direction-wise, everything craft. This is him at the top of his game, and I don't think there's a better person to handle such a serious and humane subject matter than this man, because he gives it. I have read the book, and it is a little bit different in terms of the way this tells the story. It is a little bit more kind of leaning towards the Osage side of things, whereas the book's very much kind of more into the FBI investigation. So he actually does add a lot more heart into the film from that side of things.
Gotcha.
But man, I can't say much more about this film without like, from the opening scene, like the dialogue, you're kind of just drawn in, and Scorsese uses, there's not one director I can think of that uses every single frame and every single shot to tell a story and uses it so well. Like of this 3 hour, it is a long film, don't get me wrong, but man, I was drawn in. No one does tension like him, especially for such dialogue heavy film. To have tension in these kind of dialogue situations is just a credit to him. But I do think he handles such a serious matter quite well. In saying that, that's just, I guess, me empathize. I can't obviously relate to the. I'm not nowhere near related to it. So, but man, this is jumped straight up there for number one for me of the film of the year at this stage in time. Like I have Oppenheimer up there, I have Barbie, I have Spider-Verse, but I don't think I can watch this film again because it is such a brutal and heartbreaking film to even witness and watch. But I'm just, in terms of, man, as you can tell, I'm just kind of speechless in how this film was handled and made, and I love Scorsese with all my heart, and I continue to hope he keeps making films, and films like this which deserve to be told and shown, because we can't shy away from this kind of history, and it deserves to be told, and I think everyone should go see this. I think it deserves to be seen. It is hard to watch, it is long, but it is a story that I think deserves to be told, and my heart really aches after watching it, to be honest. Like I'm a bit,
That's fair. It's similar with me. It made me sick too watching this film at times. It is like a tough watch, and it is. I'm not like big on woke culture or anything like that. Not really interested in any of that. But it's good that I'm now more knowledgeable on the subject. But like it's pretty shit. Like the whole thing, it's so well done that you're really drawn into this part of history, and it makes you upset that it is part of history.
You're drawn in watching it, but it also makes you sick to watch it, because there are people like, this was only 100 years ago, in the 1920s. Like there are people out there that are still directly related to this situation, and even the ending made me physically ill. Like listening to the fact that these people did get out.
Yeah.
After murdering one by one and having this mass plot to murder these people and weed them out of their own land. Like,
it's pretty stuffed up, pretty messed up.
Yeah.
But definitely acting was absolutely phenomenal from both Robert, Leonardo and Lily. Next level. And you're right, Lily's going to have a pretty good grasp on that award at the end of the year, I reckon. She's
there's obviously
standout performer.
There's still a lot of films to come, but like in terms of what we've seen this year and best actress, which I think she'd play in. I don't know about best supporting because it's usually based on what they market for. But I think, yeah, you are right. I think she's got it.
I really like the way this was shot and the lighting and the cinematography in this film. Some of the lighting in some of the scenes there where it was more of those, I guess, when they're building like tension or serious moments, is actually like a genuine like dimming of the background, or it goes black while
It's a really human tone, yeah.
yeah, or while things are going on. So it really like sucks you into this experience. Some of that was great, and I love the way it was the shot overall. I thought it was filmed great, and there were some unique scenes, especially in the intro with kind of the way the shaky camera started. And I was like, all right, cool. This is already set up for a pretty good film, for a pretty good shot film. Pretty keen for that. But yeah, it was an artistic masterpiece, that's for sure. It was beautiful. No way did I enjoy this, and I'll probably never watch it again.
Oh no! Like in saying that, like I didn't.
Yeah.
I was floored.
That's why it's not good. It's just a artistically good film.
I do think this is genuinely a masterpiece.
Yeah.
In cinematic history, like I'm not kidding. Where I think this is an unbelievable film, but I will probably buy it on 4K just for the sake of owning it, because I think it deserves to be owned.
Yep,
but
agreed.
I do not know if I will ever watch this film again. It is 3 hours and 26. Like not that I say I felt the length, but it is long.
That's actually one thing I was going to add. I didn't feel the length at all.
No, I didn't feel it. It was just long. Like like
felt longer during Expendables 4 or whatever. That was 90 minutes, the worst 90 minutes of my life.
No, I do agree with you. Like, it is not an enjoyable time at all.
No, and it's not supposed to be.
And cinema, the cinema's, the best way to put it for me is like cinema isn't fully truth. It's just a construction of what
someone's interpretation, really.
Like it's a construction of an interpretation, and obviously Scorsese is, whether he's read the book or obviously knows about this, it's actually just, you can see how much heart he's put into this situation.
Yeah, he wanted it to mean something. 100%.
Yeah, the way it's told, you can tell it. Obviously, I think it felt to me like his most personal film yet. So, but yeah, I don't know where or what to touch. I presume you well actually it was still you were still going. To be fair.
I had nothing really extra to add on top. It was just like an artistic masterpiece, that's for sure. Well acted, well shot, well directed, well lit. The audio design, I didn't really comment on it too much, because it was great to complement the film, but it wasn't trying to be a standout. It was trying to be just like the score and everything. It was just like, okay, we need to complement this scene. We need it to make sense. We need it to invoke this emotion. And I feel like it did that well, but it wasn't ever trying to be a standout in this. So it won't win the Best Score of the Year award, but it might for some artistic side of things, that's for sure. But yeah, that's about all my thoughts.
Yeah.
From here.
No, if you have seen it, which I'm sure you have probably by this point, please let us know what you think in the comments below. Other than that, we will be back later this week to review, or next week to review The Killer and Five Nights at Freddy's, which I know you're looking forward to. So please subscribe, comment below what you think, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.